It's only been about a year since I got back into developing film. I felt that developing color negatives would be the next logical step in my evolutionary photography journey. Coming from a background of developing black and white, the process seemed the same from the endless amounts of YouTube videos that I've been watching. I ended up pulling the trigger and ordered some C41 processing kits and an RA4 processing kit from a well-known online photography website. Well, I didn't pay for the next day's service, so I had to wait 7 to 10 business days. I also wanted to try some new film. Well, new to me. So good old YouTube kept pushing Kodak Vision 3 500T as the flavor of the week. I ended up ordering it and a few other film stocks as well. When I received the shipment, I immediately threw the Kodak Vision 3 500D into my Canon AE-1 with the Vivitar 28mm 2.5 lens and scheduled some time to go burn a roll. I decided to go to the San Jose Municipal Rose Garden after work. I was about 10 frames in before I realized that I had forgotten to put on an 85B filter. Seeing that I purchased a few rolls, I just went ahead and burnt the entire roll without the filter. As I was wandering around the rose garden, minding my own business, photographing whatever the hell was in front of me, a few people would approach me and ask if I can take a picture of them with their cell phone. Later that night, I should have asked if I can take a picture of them with my film camera. Or does that sound a little too creepy? I ended up finishing that roll, packed up my gear, and headed out. It was about a month and a half that exposed roll from the rose garden sat in my refrigerator before I developed it. I kinda wanted to have a few rolls under my belt before I tackled a roll that kinda had a purpose. I eventually became that mad scientist again as I developed that roll. I was being super careful, making sure that the liquid was measured on a level surface, that I slowly poured the chem into the tanks, cautiously making sure that not one drop would be spilled, pretending that every drop could cause a catastrophic event that would take out half the neighborhood if it were to touch the ground. And the goggles and the chemical apron that I was wearing will protect me from any effects from this event. Well, I completed the process and let the negatives dry. The next night was scanning night. I finally got the images into the computer, viewed them, and I did not like what I saw. The rest of the night was spent researching why my images turned out the way that they did. Turns out the results were basically the same as I'd seen anything online, and that the results were altered in Photoshop. A few nights later, I reviewed the scanned images with some fresh eyes and saw some possibilities. I popped in a few promising images into Photoshop. So I slid some sliders, I buttoned some buttons, I toggled some toggles, and wiggled some woggles. I eventually saw an image that I can actually somewhat stand behind. If anything, I'm glad that I was actually able to complete a new process. Well, a new process to me at least.